When I say this chapter ended up having the one thing that was really needed in order to move this story forward, I'm glad for that. On the other hand, it had the one thing I was desperately hoping that Horikoshi wouldn't do, because you could see it coming from a mile away. It was the most obvious thing you could do. And while I'm not condemning the choice, it still is really disappointing to me. Because, it made a lot of sense. All for One's plan was kind of brilliant. He was very desperate to never put New Order and One for All in the same place. Star and Stripe and Deku teaming up would have been incredible. And he knew it. And even Horikoshi knew it. That is like, if those two teamed up, this would be too easy for the hero. And yeah, am I stupid for kind of hoping that would have been the case? Yeah, a little bit, I'll be honest. But his plan of just having all of his followers overseas, all over the world, causing a ruckus so that help would not come to Japan in a timely manner, it's smart. It's absolutely brilliant. Delay any intervention, take One for All, and then challenge New Order, and then you're done. It becomes a cakewalk after that point. Or at the very least, take New Order, and then take all One for All. But it's not the direction he wanted things to go in with that. Because it meant he had to put Tomura Shigaraki's body on the line. It was too soon. The timetable was too fast. Star and Stripe doing this created a absolutely terrible situation for All for One. And as the body of Tomura Shigaraki, I guess you could say at this point, basically tries to steal New Order away from Star and Stripe, she tries to use New Order, saying Kathleen Bate, which I guess is her full name. Interesting. Unfortunately, we didn't learn it till the end, but Kathleen Bate won't decay. But it's too late. And even her bros are just like, no, she took the hit for my sake. That was a bad move. It would have been better to just destroy me. And the body of Tomura Shigaraki, namely One for All for One, I should say, All for One, in the body of Tomura Shigaraki, just like, yeah, it was a stupid idea. I've basically stolen the ability, and the New Order Star and Stripe try to put on her body. It's because she can't do much when it comes to her own physicality. That's her biggest flaw. And ultimately, Decay was going to just completely override that there and then. And All for One is gloating. It's just like, your body started to decay before the moment I started absorbing your quirk, and you would have had to do a verbal command to put it into place. So it was too late, I had already touched you. Trying to save yourself was your ultimate downfall. And he even thinks of his little brother. It's like, Yoichi, I did it. I managed to beat you. This is where the true Demon Lord rises. Yes, the hero always wins in those comic books, but I always chose not to read that part because that's the one thing I never wanted. And as he goes to use New Order, suddenly the visage of Star and Stripe appears within the mental landscape of Tomura Shigaraki, and the body of Tomura Shigaraki starts to explode like he's being ravaged from the inside out. And it's in that moment that Star and Stripe's bros realize what her plan was. That blowing Tomura Shigaraki up with the plane, it wouldn't have finished the job. There wouldn't have been enough time. He would have been too fast with the way that he moved. But she formed one other New Order before she was touched, because she saw that she was done, and that New Order would revolt against the other quirks, that it would go on a rampage within the body of Tomura Shigaraki, destroying every quirk it possibly could within his body. And as she saw it, the worst case scenario would have been her dying as well as having her quirk stolen. That was the worst case scenario. But the best case scenario with an added bonus was to destroy Tomura Shigaraki's body from the inside out and protect her body as well. Keep living, essentially. So it's just like, she more or less won out on this one, because she saw exchanging her life to put a potential stop to Tomura Shigaraki as completely worth it. Her life was a small price to pay, and she thanks everyone who helped her in this endeavor. The commander, her bros, everyone, that she couldn't have done it with alone. And as All For One is just like, oh no, there's just this massive backlash, have this invader within my own body, and the one big downside to All For One is that he can only steal quirks or give them. He can't just delete them. Just be like, we don't want this quirk. Delete it. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So he has to give it to someone else. So he tries to reach out and give it to one of the pilots, who just start bombarding him with laser fire. Like, no, end this guy now. Do not let Star's work be in vain. She's obviously still keeping up the good fight from the inside out. His body is falling apart. This is our chance. So from the outside, he's being destroyed. From the inside, he's being destroyed. It's absolute devastation. And I didn't cry in this moment, but I felt the heaviest feeling in my heart, because we didn't get to be with this character long enough for me to feel those emotions. I wanted to get to know this character longer. I wanted her to meet All For One. I wanted her to meet Deku. Hell, she could have died at a later point in time. Something else. I wanted something along those lines. But I understand this direction for story purposes. I just was really not wanting things to go down like this. And she attributes the life that she's led as a blessing, that she got to indulge in a dream, the dream of being like All Might, the dream of returning that favor that he paid her all that time ago. Paying that life he saved forward, more or less. And that's the thing that really gets me. Is just, she was a true soldier. Like, nothing less. Like, she did her job, and she went out sacrificing herself without a second thought. That's really beautiful to me. And I can't dismiss that. And I think that's the one positive of the way that Horikoshi wrote this. That she managed to deliver such a massive blow to Shigaraki, to All For One, making an opening that potentially Deku can exploit sometime in the future. And it's funny too, because as All For One desperately tries to get Tomura's body out of there as best he can to just fly it away, he curses what he calls the Specter of All Might. Because that form that she took, that look that she had of looking like All Might, it ended up just being kind of like All Might was once again thwarting All For One. And that kind of makes it kind of fun. Kind of funny to a certain extent. That even with All Might no longer being there, having the power, being able to challenge him, he still managed to be a thorn in All For One's side, even with just the deeds that he did in the past. So I just want to say thank you, Kathleen Bate. Thank you, Star and Stripe, for being such a fantastic character for such a brief moment. You are a service to your country, and though you may be gone, you will not be forgotten. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Was this enough for you? Or do you feel this was a bit of a cheap way for her to go out and a cheap way to nerf Tomura Shigaraki? I look forward to hearing from you, but if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notification. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. And thus, let us share a moment of silence for Kathleen Bates.